Let's study the humanities. You're running late for humanities class. When you arrive, everyone is gathered in the beanbags around the room's big hollow projector. Ship's computer congruence is displayed on it. She's giving today's lesson, reading an old book of Earth poetry. You sit down next to Tang and nudge her and motion. What's up with this? Tang frowns at you. You missed the announcement, she whispers. Because Professor Hal died, congruence will be teaching this class from now on. Then she frowns at everything in general. They said everyone else who might be qualified is too busy, and no, they didn't ask me. What does a computer know about poetry? You wrinkle your nose. Biology and physics, sure, you tell Tangent, but writing is about expression and understanding, the subtleties of human communication. Suddenly, Congruence's monitor swings over to you and recites, Oh, have you all the beauty youth ere knew, that you are so vain. Less pride might serve if ever it were true, and you might gain. By humbler show of graces you possess, the haughty bearing makes the charm the less. Tang's eyes go wide, and the class giggles at you. You're pretty sure you just got a clap back from a robot, but you can't be sure. Okay, we want to go to exactly 20, if at all possible. Okay, this is a good place to start. I mean, this is just straight up a 5. Okay, 22. Now here's the question. Can we reduce this at all? Like, what if we did like this? Boom. Suboptimal, but we get 5 kudos. Alright, probably about time to relax. Early pollen. Let's do our seasonally, like, checking on the conversations. Tang is craning her head, looking around what she can see of the colony from the laboratory doors. Have you seen my brother? She asks. He stormed out of class today again. She pinches the bridge of her nose. All I did was point out that he consistently makes the same mathematical error, and offer a mnemonic to aid his memory in the future. I don't see how I'm the monster here. Yeah, you know, sometimes people just aren't very good at taking criticism. Hey, It takes a while to find Jis, but when you do, you almost wish you hadn't. He's standing over the bloated body of a dead Hopeye, nudging it with a stick. When he sees you, his eyes go wide. I didn't do it, he scowls. It was like this when I found it, really. Yeah, I believe you. Maybe. A sports one, yeah, we know about the 4. We know about 3, we know about 2, possibly even 1. Yep, math, farming math. We all love farm math. Hey, Mars. Oh, hey, Solana, Mars says, breezing past you. I'm sorry, I can't talk now. I'm on my way to work at command. She stops and you don't sound amazed enough. You know, the supply depot, she clarified. It's the most important job in the whole colony. Anything that gets made here goes to me first. Mars' smug smile gets somehow even more smug. Plus, I get first pick of all the best stuff. Could I work there with you? Go straight to Seek and ask for a job. Wow, Mars, that's amazing. Mars, can I work there too? Well, Mars hems and haws. I suppose it is a lot of work to do alone. And I do like you. We should stick together. Whatever Mars does to pull Administrator Seek's strings works, because an hour later you get a message from them on your holopalm. They're dubious that you'll be able to rise to the responsibilities of the role, but that's nothing new. Seek is dubious about everyone and everything, but they agree Mars would be more efficient if she had someone else to keep an eye on her. Awesome. Let's get employed. Well, actually, I wanted to work. Or, not work. I wanted to take a break. What does working in the depot do? +2 organization, +2 persuasion. That's not bad, because that's a skill I'm trying to increase. More friendship with Mars, 9 kudos and 10 stress. Okay. We'll definitely have to do that a bit, but first, let's relax, take a break. Maybe even practice the photophoner. Come to think of it, I don't think that's actually a relaxing thing. But you know what? We're doing it anyway. It's fun. The photophoner, or phoner, is part flute and part paintbrush. You point the end of the phoner in the direction you want to paint, blow into the other end, and it makes sound and draws holograms in midair. It comes with a funny earpiece that fits behind your ear and reads your thoughts. Well, not quite. More like it detects the electrical impulses in your head and draws those. You're not really sure how to use it. We can follow instructional videos, because we're organized. We can ask a friend for help, because we have persuasion. Or we can figure it out yourself. Let's watch the videos. Great masters, or at least the people on these teaching vids who you notice are just sitting in their bedrooms like you, can create a whole animated scene. A lake, trees, a boat, a person on the boat fishing. You watch as the holographic image reels in something big, then a gigantic fish jumps up and swallows the boat with dramatic music to match. You can do this. No problem. Honk! You have a lot of beautiful ideas, but what you get is a masterful honking noise and a pulsating tangled knot of sickly green light that quickly fades away. At this rate, you'll never be as good as the masters. That's discouraging. Let's ask a friend. Phone a friend. You look, but you can't find anyone else who plays the photophoner? Like, nobody in the whole colony? Mars tells you it's a dumb gimmick instrument, and the ones on the depot shelves have literally been there since the Strato left Earth over 20 years ago. You have better luck with the adults, but only barely. Antecedent smiles when she sees you carrying the photophoner. Oh, those old things, she exclaims. I remember those. I took lessons as a kid when they were popular for a hot minute back on Earth. I could play do-re-mi on it, but that's it. Never got the picture part to work at all, honestly. You guess you're on your own. Let's figure it out. You sit down and experiment with it. The photophoner's different for every person, so figuring out how to play it is a personal experience. You let your instincts guide you. You wish it was as simple as thinking tree and it paints a tree, or even blue and it paints blue. No, for you it's more like, well, if you think about food, it paints a lot of round bubble shapes, and if you think about something that makes you angry, it draws orange squiggles. Mostly your phoner pictures have a lot of purple lines that dance around. You guess that's your personal style. Okay. Actually, once you stop worrying about being good and just thinking about how it feels, it actually starts to feel fun. Let's get to work. Card becomes social. Don't mind if I do. Also don't mind if I do. Also, don't mind if I do. And I do. Oh, drat, that was benefiting from that. Hold on. And this isn't going to help at all. What if we just go for this? Right? And then we switch this, and there you go. Sometimes you just gotta go for the extremely long straights and, or whatever these are called. So we have, this is a flush, right? And then this is a 5 of a kind. And 5 of a kind is pretty strong, all things considered. Even if there are 5 ones of a kind. Your dad comes back from work one day looking seriously under the weather. He's pale with deep circles under his eyes, and he keeps sneezing. It's fine, me and Sis. It's just all this pollen in there. It's gunking up the old air tubes. Do you remember hay fever, Flulu? We always got back on Earth, too. Your mom frowns and crosses her arms. We did, she agrees. So why isn't it bothering me? You're tougher than me, sweet pea. Your dad says, and your mom rolls her eyes. I'm sure I just have to get used to it like you did, he continues. Maybe I'll go for a stroll outside the gates later. Really get a good lungful of the stuff. I'll feel bad for a few weeks, but after that I'll be fine. Outside the gates, Dad? That doesn't... I'm worried. Your mom raises both eyebrows. Outside the gates? You? Your dad shrugs, and he falls into a fit of sneezing and can't answer. Your mom directs him to go lie down on their bed. You need rest, not machismo, she scolds him. I don't have Your dad sneezes. Macho bone in my body, foo-foo. And I have to fertilize the corn and the pixie beans this week. Uh-huh, your mom grunts. Your dad pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and sneezes into it a few times. Big, yelling, honk sneezes that echo through your whole quarters. He pulls it away from his face, and you can tell that something's wrong. Huh? Your dad says weakly, holding the handkerchief away from his face. It's bright fuchsia pink, and glittering in lights? That's weird. Then his eyes roll back in his head, his knees buckle, and your mom yells for you to call Instance. Chief Engineer Instance takes your dad's vitals and gives him a cursory look over, but she seems satisfied with what she sees without having to do a thorough examination. The explorers have started calling this Shimmer, she says, shining a light down your dad's throat. He's looking a little better, but not much. It's an airborne environmental toxin, likely in the pollen fog. Will he be okay? It doesn't seem to cause long-term damage to the body, Instance explains. Granted, we only have 2 years of data, which is hardly the long term, so we really don't know. That being said, I've been tracking its effects for 3 seasons now. The toxin is flushed out of the body after 3 to 5 days and it's not contagious. Okay, so we do have some idea. That's good. She looks down at your father. What that means for you, geranium, since you're particularly susceptible to the toxin, you should be taking better pains to avoid exposure. If you must go outside during pollen, use a respirator. Your dad smiles weakly. You got it, boss, he says. Your mom smiles and puts her hand on it over his. As your literal boss, I'm ordering you not to come into work for the rest of the week, she says. You're on strict bed rest. She leans in to touch her forehead to his. They stay like that, smiling with relief. Even after 1 day of bed rest, your dad is looking a lot better. He's clearly anxious to get back out into the fields. You're gonna love this new crop, Solana. It's called a pixie bean. They glow in the dark. He's already pulling on his boots. The fields look so beautiful at night. I'm happy that we finally found something that would actually grow here. That isn't soy, and more soy. I'm happy too. That was a close one. And you know what? It speaks to, the quality of the narrative in this game. They've killed off so many characters early on that whenever something like that comes up, you do legitimately fear that, is Dad gonna die now? So, they've constructed this narrative quite intelligently thus far, and I appreciate it. Anyways, back to the game. Tangent, how you doing? Your holopalm pulses with a message from Tang. Hello, Solana. If you're not occupied, could I ask for your assistance in the lab? Thank you in advance. Tangent. Typical Tang, but her asking for help is something so rare that you can't help but head over right away. You find her hunched over a spectrometer, making notes on a holoscreen. Oh, you're here, she says, blinking rapidly. She looks like she's been awake for days, wrinkled, a little shiny, and with the wild-eyed look of someone who needs a cup of black tea. I came as soon as I could. I'm researching the Shimmer, the respiratory illness some people report during pollen, she says. I'm loath to admit it, but I need your assistance. She takes 4 vials with swabs inside and puts them into your hands. I need recent saliva samples from both you and your father, she says. There must be a reason why he's so susceptible to the Shimmer, and you're not. You share half your genetic code with him. There must be some marker we can compare between the 2 samples. Then, she continues, pulling another vial from a rack of test tubes, administer this to yourselves, wait 3 days, and take the samples again. The test should be able to determine if anything in your body chemistry has changed. What? Tang looks at you very seriously, cutting through her bleary expression. There's something going on here, she whispers. Something really, really big. I've begun to realize this is about more than just curing a disease. She squeezes your hand so hard it almost hurts. unlocking the secrets to the shimmer, who it affects, and why, it can lead to a greater understanding of all life on Vertumna. And knowledge is more than power, Solana. It's control. Are you? You seem a bit unhinged, Tang. But this sounds cool, so we'll do it. What are these question marks? +1 Shimmer Cure, +1 Help Tangent, +2 Friendship with Tangent. Thank you, Tang says. I've been researching so hard, I think my eyes are going to fall out of my head. And for what? Well, for the end of a debilitating disease is a pretty good reason, but Tang just shakes her head at herself before you can answer. We're at a disadvantage here, she mutters. We're fighting blind. We need to understand this planet if we're going to get it under control. Okay. Well, yeah, little dictator in the making here. But, yeah. Yeah, honestly. And maybe I'm not going to make a lot of friends for saying this, but... You know, especially here in America, we've got a culture of, like, freedom is, like, the highest of all virtues. In this sort of context, where we got a colony going on, then, like, control, safety, you know, that sort of thing might actually be a bit of a higher virtue than, you know, freedom. So, yeah. So basically, Tang 2024, full support. Okay. How you doing, Jis? Your sister's being weird. Anyways, this almost completely ignores you in favor of playing a game on his holopod. Just one, he mutters, then cusses and stomps his feet as the game lets out a cheery whistle of defeat. Stupid game, Jis hisses. He looks like he'd throw the game away if it wasn't literally attached to his hand. That's fair. How you doing, Anemone? You approach an enemy just as she's about to bite into a sandwich the size of her head. Mom says I'm about to hit up my growth spurt, she says, chewing with her mouth open. She says I got a hollow leg. Oh, wait a minute. One thing I would like to check. We know what Mars's birthday is, right? Early wets. That's like next set of seasons, right? The early wets. Cal, anything new to say? The sound of hammering rings through the garden, and you find Cal helping your mom to build a row of raised garden beds. Turns out some of the earth plants don't grow so great here, so we're going to see if this helps, he says, taking a break to rub his face. Your mom stifles a laugh at the smear of dirt it leaves across his cheeks. Your mom says we got to worry about the nitrogen levels soon, he continues, but hopefully we'll be eating just plants that grow here before then. Awesome. Okay. Let's go do our job. Mars, you have anything to say? Do you think there are aliens here? What? Mars. Think about statements before you say them. Okay. There are two interpretations of the statement, alright? Either. She's asked, because alien can mean two different things, right? So, the general kind of pop culture alien is, you know, a being that's not from Earth, effectively, right? Going by that definition, obviously there are aliens here because there's tons of life form on this planet that's not from Earth. Now, second potential interpretation. Aliens relative to this planet, as in, are there beings from planets aside from this planet that are here? Which, again, obviously the answer is yes, because we are aliens to this planet. Our third potential definition, are there aliens relative to this planet aside from us and what we brought that are here? Which I don't understand why you're asking that question if that's the case, and I guess it could be. Seems kind of low in terms of probabilities given how many planets there are that we'd happen to be on a planet at the same time as another colonizing alien race is, but who knows? Possible. But what she probably means is actually the aliens as in, like, sentience life being on the planet, and who knows, maybe that's what's literally on the screen right now. I haven't read anything past the first sentence, so let's see what's going on. Mars asks, looking at the colony walls. Like, not the weird monster animal ones, but, like, human-type ones. Okay, yeah. So basically, read the text before you rant about it. She sighs and crosses her arms. I just want to meet an alien, just because it'd be something to do. Okay, great. Let's go to work. Let's work in the depot. Seek rolls their eyes when they see you report to the depot for your first day as a clerk. Oh, it's you, they deadpan. Well, at least you might learn something useful while you're here. The depot is where the precious nanoprinter lives. Seek lords over it like a tyrant, and they don't like children. They load the depot module on your holopalm and walk you through the process. People submit requisitions for the nanoprinter through this portal, they explain. It's your job to program the correct routine into the nanoprinter to fulfill their order, then you mark it as available for delivery or pickup, depending on if we have a delivery person available. Seek grumbles. And we almost never do, because that's your job and you barely do it! With that perfunctory explanation, Seek leaves you to figure out what to do on your own. It's okay for the first hour or so, because no one puts in a requisition at all. It is pretty early. Maybe everyone is still asleep. Let's see. We don't want to catch up on sleep, because what's going to happen is we sleep, and then we get a requisition order, and then we're asleep, and we don't fulfill it, and we get yelled at and fired. We don't want to catch up on... Well, we could catch up on homework. That would still distract us, but not as much as sleeping, because, like... And sleeping is kind of the ultimate distraction when you think about it. Although cleaning and organizing the depot, technically a bit of a distraction, but employer will like it, so we're doing that. There isn't a lot to organize, as you don't store a lot of stuff here, except for things that people need all the time, like toothpaste, but you find a bucket and start to mop the floors the old-fashioned way, because there's nothing wrong with taking pride in your work. You're jerked back to reality by a haptic pulse through your holopalm. Your first order! You excitedly open your holopalm and read it. Elbow grease, 1 gallon, it reads, from Cal Geoponics. Delivery ASAP. Yeah, very funny, Cal. That's not a real product. You dismiss the phony requisition. Haha, Cal's got jokes. Another one pops up on your holoscreen. Flashlight fluid, 2 gallons, an enemy, sports ball delivery. We'll fill it, sure. You fix the requisition to your holoscreen and fire up the nanoprinter. Huh, there must be something wrong, because you're not finding anything under... You're out to punch in the parameters for something similar to what's in the requisition when you hear someone laughing behind you. OMG! Mars exclaims, leaning over your shoulder to look at your holopalm. Are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? Like, Solana, that's not even a thing. Mars snaps her gum in your ears as she reaches over and dismisses the requisition. Here, I saved you from being a nilhead today. Now you owe me one, she says. I take payments in acts of service. She hops up onto the depot counter and primly crosses her legs. I am so totally relieved to have you as my assistant here, Solana. Finally, someone to haul boxes and fetch things so I can focus on the important work. Sounds good to me, or... Maybe we could share responsibilities, or... Your assistant? I should be in charge here. That's right. I convinced you to get me this job. I took advantage of our friendship, and now I'm playing an Uno reverse card. I am going to usurp you in this coup of authority, and then Solana will be Lord of the... Where are we? The depot? The Lord of the depot! I'm in charge. I don't care which one of you is in charge, Seek interrupts, so long as you get the work done. Seek pauses. Wait, did you wash the floors? They say, looking impressed. Well, that does deserve a reward. Here you go. They swipe their holopalm and you feel yours pulse as a couple kudos are deposited into your account. Oh, that actually gained me friendship with Mars. I figured that we'd lose it. Awesome. Mars can hardly wait until Seek is gone to giggle. Either way, I'm glad you're here. This job is usually so boring. Alright, working time. 5 kudos if the total equals the goal. Out of curiosity, what would this give us? 17, that's not enough. Easy, we do this. That's still 17. Notably. Okay. How about that? 15, that's less, believe it or not. What if we got like a... Here. So we got like a 0, 1, 2. Yeah. Okay, now this is stupid. This is... Okay. You know what? Maybe we just go for the 17 and push through. There. It costs a bit of stress, but it's fine. You do your best. That's the best you can hope for. It's late pollen. It's time to relax. Things are getting pretty dicey around here. We'll just relax in the lounge. Lots of kids treat the lounge as an informal study hall, especially Tangent. And Mars too, sometimes, if she's trying to impress Tangent. You crack open a textbook on your holopalm and read about some old dead Earth poets. Just because you're not in class doesn't mean you can't read ahead a little. Neither of these are great cards, but they're not terrible cards either, so... I don't know, maybe I should be more aggressive, but for now, I'm going to keep them. Early Dust. Hey, Tangent, how's Dust treating you? You don't do playing? Yeah, fair enough. And I feel like I've been trying to raise reasoning, and it just doesn't go up. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at it. Yes, okay, I guess no one has anything interesting to say anymore. Oh well. What would escaping do for us? It would give us bravery, perception, and friendship. Yeah, doesn't seem that appealing, honestly. Let's go work on some engineering. The night sky in Vertumna is like no star chart in the holo archives you brought from Earth. You're not even certain if the stars you're seeing are new ones entirely, or the same ones but seen from a different angle. Where the wormhole actually spat you out is a mystery. You know some of the adults are working on reading radiation levels from various stars, guessing which ones they are, and using them to triangulate where you are. It is a downright frightening amount of math. 5 computers if the total equals the goal. The goal is 20. Alrighty. Challenge accepted. Well, dissect stuff. We'll learn about the Earth. We'll get some discoveries made. Here's a question. Is it better to have this, or is it better to have this? I think this is... Oh, and then there we go. 20. Perfect. Win. Awesome. It's time for the 3rd annual Vertumnalia Festival. You gather with your family in the colony square. Everyone takes a seat as Governor Uticott approaches the stage. She folds her hands serenely, and serenely addresses the crowd. What a pleasure to address you all as your governor, she says, looking as pleased as she ever does. In under 3 years, we've built a colony of which we can be truly proud. While we've suffered hardships and losses, we have remained standing, as always, looking toward the future we are building together. Let us in this midsummer festival as a time to reflect on our many blessings. Use it, rather. Uticott continues. Fresh water, good food, healthy children, and a strong community. Uticott bows her head. But first, let us remember Professor Halitosis, who guided our children and kept our engines running for so many years. Chief Engineer Instance will be filling in, with help from our ship's AI, Congruence, until someone can take up the mantle that rested so easily on Hell's broad shoulders. We also recognize the passing of our dear friend, Chief Surveyor Melatonin. Known for his gentle nature and his curious spirit, Tonin joins his daughter, Aspartame, and his partner, Lavandula, in the world of our memories. In his place, we welcome our youngest council member ever, Utopia, representing expeditions. Uticott invites the rest of the council to stand and be recognized among the crowd, including her mom, who huffs in annoyance. When the applause dies down and the council sits, Utopia remains standing. Actually, Auntie Uticott, y'all mind if I just make a quick announcement? Utica nods and Utopia clears her throat. I just wanted to say thanks to y'all who are trusting me with this job, she says, her clear voice ringing out over the crowd. A cheer rises from Expeditions, and she motions for them to quiet down. Uncle Tonnin's left some big shoes to fill, and, well, I'm gonna give it my best shot. We're fixing to get to the bottom of what we're calling the shimmer. The sniffles folks have been getting during pollen, Utopia continues. Until we do, please keep on wearing your masks when the pollen is thick, and let the doc know if you're under the weather. She bends down to hug the governor as she leaves the stage. Thank you, Utopia, Utica says warmly, and thank you to the rest of the council for their service. Live music starts playing, and Utica smiles. And now it's time for games and feasting. The crowd disperses towards the feasting table, clearing the area of chairs so the children's competitions can be held. What will you do this year? Well, we could do the talent show again. Or we could go for the science fair. And we've done the talent show a lot. Let's give the science fair a shot. Maybe we'll upset some people. Not in like a bad way, but in like a good way. Tangent's project involves how the surveyor's gliders work. Something to do with the materials they're made from reacting with the magnetic field of the planet combined with solar energy collected from the wings. You tune her out, only zoning back when Tang stumbles through one of the judge's technical questions. You catch her look of pained frustration as she realizes she doesn't know the answer. The judge turns to you next. Ready? Normal difficulty reasoning challenge. Let's go. 58 in 3 rounds. Okay. I mean, you gotta do the pair of 5s, right? And this is only a third. Oh. I mean, yeah. A triple of 5s. How can you not? We're already at 20. Let's go. And that was just a really lucky hand, admittedly. Okay. So we can get a pair of 3s, get a 1 in there, and pair up with another one. It's not bad. Is there anything we could do to make it better? Not really. Okay. Oh, well. Here we go. What's this going to give us? 22. We could push through for 10 stress. What happens if we swap the debatable around? Also 22, as it turns out. Okay. I can probably live with this. Push through for 10 stress? Sounds good to me. You do an egg drop experiment, taking fragile crystalline glass fruit and designing 4 different ways to protect them from breaking after a long fall. 2 break, but 2 succeed. Your experiment is only a simple demonstration of physics, but the judges decide to award you for choosing something within your capabilities and doing it well. Tang is frustrated, but more to herself than you. She is not used to failure. I'm the science fair champion! Huzzah! And I'm popular again. After the festivities, you take time off for a much-needed, very relaxing break. Your dad sets up a slip and slide through the colony square, and everyone takes turns sliding on their stomachs and spraying water at each other. It's a lot of fun. You can feel your worries floating away in the hot dust suns.